Those who thought that the Ivanishvili's regime is on the brink of collapse and they are as fragile as Orbeliani house railings, that's not reality.
We are now looking at the most, I think, gruesome political reality which we maybe ever had for the last 30 years.
And one of the reasons why I think whatever organizers planned didn't work, not because they were violent or they were tough, I think they were not tough enough.
It cost you isolation from the West, it cost you hatred of your own people, and it costed you radicalization, which one day will end you as a political leader.
Now it is absolutely clear that it's not just we are moving into that direction, we are already in the Russia's back garden, sadly. Hello and welcome to Talk Georgia Question Time with me, Giorgi Rukhadze.
And with me, Nodar Kharshiladze.
This is a special edition of Talk Georgia where Nodar and I dive into the key developments of Georgia's and international politics.
And it's brought to you by Droeba Media Group, trusted source of information and analysis.
And GISAC, a think tank providing comprehensive political analysis of Georgia and wider Black Sea region, also academic and practical training for postgraduate students and mid-career professionals.
Okay, let's dive in.
Let's dive into the questions that came from Soso and Elena. There were two questions and I made it into one question.
Wanna read it?
And it runs like this. What really happened on October the 4th? What were the organizers planning? And how far will the Georgian Dream's repressions go? Georgia has now overtaken Russia in political prisoners per capita. Okay, so you are former deputy defense and interior minister. So tell us a bit about violent overthrow of the government as Rukhadze is trying to portray that.
Well, first of all, I'll start with the second note. What were the organizers planning? I don't know that, and I don't think that
anybody does. Apart from them,
I don't think that they knew as well, because if they did, they would do it something more comprehensive. Let me put it this way, because whatever they were attempting to do, it failed, unfortunately. I mean, we should acknowledge these people's courage that they decided to stand up to their principles, but I don't think that this was the way to do that. Of course, it's easy to judge. In retrospect, it's very easy to judge and to cast a judgment, but I still think that results were not satisfactory even for them. So what happened? What happened that, let's go to macro level, okay, from micro. There were two attempts to change government. One by elections to change local governments, and one by protesto to change the government. Unfortunately, and I mean that, unfortunately, especially in macro level, both failed. And now Georgian Dream using it as a pretext to crack down. Now, calling it violent, first of all, it's not a correct word, because there was no violence. Nobody was seriously injured, or even there are no victims per se. The physical.
By the way, they are saying that there's 25 police officers who were injured, but I haven't seen pictures, and I haven't seen proper reports, and I haven't seen.
They would of course portray that if they would have it. It's like Mzia's slap, which this police officer is now claims that he was almost put in coma by a slap of the, right, that is how serious these claims are. So. Now, I think the more important question to ask, what's now? Yeah. So, because both, I mean, opposition, and we talked about it, opposition did the worst possible, they choose worst possible course of action. 4 of them going to election would be fine, 4 of them going to protesto would be fine. They decided to split up. They didn't decide, actually, they happened to split up. And it was not peaceful and, let's say, civilized split. They spent also some time fighting with each other pre-election.
And post-election.
It continues post-election. So now both groups have a very gruesome situation because those who went to election, they took even less votes than the last parliament election from Tbilisi and everybody. So the numbers are very bad for them. And they immediately start saying that, oh, this was rigged. Of course it was rigged. I mean, didn't you know? Is it your first election? It's not. So when you're going to election, you should acknowledge that this is a part of game. That's why others did not go to election. And of course, the second group somehow said, oh, it was a provocation. Of course it was a provocation. I mean, somebody convinced you that you gonna walk into the president's palace door and this guards and special forces gonna say, oh, we're gonna support you now. I don't know. This is very, let's say, wishful thinking translated to a very bad result. So both groups are weakened. I mean, one thing to do, and I was discussing, this was a good moment maybe for Salome to try to step up again if there was a second chance, because let's be honest, unfortunately she could not manage to unify opposition, and she tried to portray herself as a national leader, but it did not work out. So, but she also kind of backed down. She said some things, I mean, condemning part of the protest, and then, I mean, it was half measures all around from most of the part. I mean, I think we need to see more decisive actions from her side, and there was expectations for her already a long time. I mean, more than 9 months, maybe or even a year. I mean, so this October months. So that being said, I think we have in store for us very complicated few months. The question said that, and you talked about it, that Georgia exceeds now Russia per capita. That gap will grow.
and then we will overtake Belarus and maybe North Korea. Just sorry about South Korea.
No, South Korea also have some political prisoners. Don't worry about it. Yeah, compared to North, is very good. But I mean, so what is going on? That Georgian Dream now will use this to crack down opposition outside. You know, one of our diplomats, colleagues, and one of our friends told me that, you know, if GD is smart enough, they would keep UNM. Meaning, they will not start procedures.
Abolishing them, yeah.
They abolish, because that would be both very sadistic from their side, and also would be kind of politically mature, because you need weak enemy, because if you eliminate weak enemy, then strong one may step up. Unfortunately, no. And I answered that I don't think the Georgian Dream is that smart. I mean, they would now most probably move to abolish several political parties, to arrest people. And also they will use this somehow as a pretext to clean their own ranks. I mean, saying that, you know, this Viva Medi guy, you see, he was also partially insider who supported this thing. So that will intensify arrests, that will intensify crackdowns, and I think that will spiral in a very negative relationship, in a negative direction, our relationship with you as well, because you will not look at it kindly, West collectively, and we should see more and more aggressive postures from the Georgian Dream towards the Europe the following months. So all in all, I don't want to finish it on a negative note. I think the next few months will be way worse than they were.
Okay, so I agree with you in most of the things that you said, and I'll start with what really happened. So the first and most important thing, I think, was that there was at least tens of thousands of people on Rustaveli Avenue protesting Ivanishvili's regime. So I think that that's the most important part. I think that shows that the anger that has been there in the Georgian people didn't disappear. It's still there. And if the better organizers can organize this energy into the right direction, I think it will work. Second thing is that and I'll move to also the elections as you touched, even though the question doesn't touch elections, but it is an important part. On the 4th of October, the two things happened. First, the Georgia joined the ranks of Belarus and Azerbaijan and Russia, because the ruling party got 80% and the runner-up got 6% or something like that nationally, which effectively brings Georgia in the ranks of these countries, obviously. And those people who were advocating participate in these sham elections, in this circus, I think they made the laughingstock of themselves first, and also showed that, if you are going into the game like this, it would not end up well, or it would not bring the desired results. Also, at the same time, those who thought that the Ivanishvili's regime is on the brink of collapse, and they are as fragile as Orbeliani house railings, that's not reality. Okay, and if you really want, again, the solution to this, I don't know what it is. There are neither this kind of election nor this kind of violent revolution, which was not violent. But whatever is the solution, it is, we need to bear in mind that the regime is not on the verge of collapse. And we need to be tougher than we are. And one of the reasons why I think whatever organizers planned, I don't know what they did, but it didn't work, not because they were violent or they were tough. I think they were not tough enough. Well, as for what happened in the vicinity of the Orbeliani house, and I don't call that the presidential palace. It is not a palace, it's a house. And even I would say that it is Bidzina's stables. Okay, we laughed about, we had these parallels of Caligula's horse, etc., etc. I think that what happened was pretty similar to if that happened in Rome, if somebody tried to lean on the Caligula's stables railings. Because, again, I didn't really see a proper attempt to storm the Orbeliani house. If there was a proper attempt, I think it would succeed, because whatever powers there was there, or whatever resistance there was there, and yes, then 3 or 5 people leaned over these 4 railings, and it just fell over. It didn't happen to be proper iron railing. It could have been either Chinese or Irani plastic thing, I don't know, whatever. And also, Paeta Kharshiladze was helped to lift himself to somehow go into the garden of the Orbeliani house, and he was trying to talk to special force guys, talking to, is it the violence? Talking to them? And then suddenly one of them, sprayed him with a pepper spray in the face right away. So, to become, to look at it more seriously, it was not a proper attempt to take the presidential, house or Bidzina stables. If there was a proper attempt, I think that would succeed. And also, most importantly, when Rukhadze is talking about overthrow of the government, well, I don't see any government there where the action was taking place. Well, if we are talking about power centers, where the power lasts, it's Bidzina's house, and maybe it's parliament, maybe it's state chancellery office.
I doubt it's parliament, but Rukhadze's office.
Okay, but not Orbeliani house, obviously. And of course, now what Georgian Dream is trying to do is they are using this pretext to crack down on on dissent, and 40, if I'm not mistaken, 46 people are arrested altogether now. And I think that the reaction from our international friends were, I think, spot on and right, in the way that instead of focusing on so-called attempted coup, they did focus on the rights of people to demonstrate and rights of free assembly, rights of free expression, and they focused on the sham elections, which was neither free nor fair and nor competitive. And last but not least, again, talking about these 46 people now who are in prison, which effectively makes number of political prisoners over 100, if anybody, and Rukhadze and some others talking of them as criminals, I think that if anybody is criminal in this country, and if anybody committed the act of crime, that was Ivanishvili when he usurped power, when he captured the state institutions, and in my opinion, any attempt from the protest to even to take some of the buildings that are captured by Ivanishvili's cronies, I would say it is a liberation rather than attempted coup. I mean, they captured those places illegally. Okay.
Well, it's an interesting argument. Yes, the state capture was mentioned several times in international reports as well. Yes, I mean, this is the stage which we are now looking at the most, I think, gruesome political reality which we maybe ever had for the last 30 years. When, there were ups and downs all the time, but we never were aspiring to become Russia's province again. And now it looks that way, unfortunately. And that's what makes this reality, unlike any other previous crisis, and God knows we had a number of those, very unique and very destructive for the Georgian statehood. I mean, because he is playing Russian game now, because there is no other game for him to play. He doesn't have any institutions, so there is a demolishing of institutions is underway. He doesn't need Europe. Attacks on Europe is underway. And he doesn't need free thinking people. So they're trying to push as many members of the free thinking society abroad as possible. Well, why should they be here? Let's go then. Go away and send money. So, and that worked to some extent for him. Although, again, question not only for us, but for him as well. What now? Okay, you managed to once more secure your small kingdom, or more to say, your small LLC. I mean, but unlike in LLC, here your liabilities are not limited. Your liabilities are full. And it costs you isolation from the West. It costs you hatred of your own people. And it costed you radicalization, which one day will end you as a political leader. So, what's next for him? But again, now, coming back from our worries about Mr. Ivanishvili's future, let's dry our tears here, and let's say that we are more concerned with country. And country is now slipping finally away from Europe. I mean, not finally, but final step of slippery from the Europe. And gates which were opened for us, I think it's closing down now. And
sadly, that's reality.
Yeah. In reality, it is a high probability that we're gonna miss the extension whenever it occurs, because we will need some serious time to just come back on a, let's say, 2016 situation. I mean, to just get back there, we will need some time. It's not only about the physicality of time continuum. We lost trust. That's the most important one.
And I would say more about that. I agree with you that, again, when you look at the captured institutions that we're talking about, they are not just captured, but they are corrupt. And the corruption is not in traditional sense. It is corrupt to the level that okay, even if you change a government like tomorrow, okay, I mean, something happens there and the Bidzina's regime collapses, you need to rebuild these institutions from the scratch. And it will take a lot of time. And with this court system, with these law enforcement agencies, with this, I don't know, the prosecution office, with the ministries that they have, with the foreign ministry now that does, I mean, how can you possibly, step into that gate that you are talking about, this European Union, whatever gate, with these institutions? No, you can't. Even if things change, it will take quite a lot of time to restart all this.
Yep.
And this week I had Mr. Jan Kelly on Talk Georgia, former U.S. ambassador to Georgia and former spokesperson for the State Department. And what he said was that this is the wholesale reorientation of Georgia from the west to the east, and it is clear now. But what he said, there were signs as early as 2017, when Kvirikashvili was kicked out as prime minister, that this could have possibly happened. But it all intensified, like when Russia attacked Ukraine, etc.
It accelerated.
To the level that then it was really kind of impossible to imagine how quick it would progress. And what he said, that he could easily imagine that the political leaders in Georgia are this power thirsty. Mm-hmm. And that is common thing, was common thing with Shevardnadze and Misha and also Bidzina. But what he said he would and could not imagine, that the Georgia turning back to the West so quickly and aligning themselves with Russia and China and kicking out the U.S. company SS Marine from this Anaklia deep sea port and give it to the Singaporean Chinese company. That would surprise him a lot. But again, coming back to what we were discussing, that now it is absolutely clear that it's not just we are moving into that direction, we are already in the Russia's back garden, sadly.
Now, again, I keep saying that I don't want to be negative, and I keep saying, but I have nothing positive to say to you guys. I mean, unfortunately, I would love to. But to finish with one anecdote from the recent one, and you talked about the arrests and about judicial system. In one of the processes, I think which one it was? I think it was Manjgaladze's, or I think this when court was now discussing about the bail for the 4 initially arrested people. Mm-hmm. Lawyer asked the judge, who was a lady, he said, you are so partial that it looks like that you represent Georgian Dream. And she answered, of course I represent Georgian Dream. And then when he filed the demand for accuse, she was shocked. She said, why you are doing that? But he said, you just admitted that you don't represent system. You represent a political party. I mean, that even shows what the level of the destruction of the institutions, that judge freely admits that, of course I represent Georgian Dream. So, on this positive note, I think that this was a sad day for all of us. Even for those of us who think that it was a good day, it was a sad day. But when time comes for them to understand it, it will be too late for them as well, unfortunately. So let's see. Maybe some positive things might appear, because in such dark moments sometimes some events appear which will change the country's future. This is possible. We have witnessed it before. Let's see, but for the moment, for next few months, there is no grounds for optimism. I'm sorry.
I disagree with you. I think that there were some positive things as well. And the most important thing is that I think that a lot of people faced reality. Until now, there was a certain illusions about the regime collapsing easily, blah, blah,
So
blah.
facing it,
There were certain illusions that, well, we will clinch Tbilisi mayor's post if we take part in these sham elections. There were some of the other illusions. It is very positive when the illusions are dying out and we are facing stark reality.
so you are saying that we get to the stage 5 or acceptance stage. You know, there is this 5 stage of acceptance doctors use of the first is the shock, then there is a bargain, there is anger, and they say 5, especially it used during the cancer. You know what is stage 6?
What?
Death. Yes,
Okay.
because it's about cancer and it's about patient's acceptance of the inevitability of its demise. So I don't think that accepting anything, George, will change it. We have seen.
I didn't mean that.
We have seen how
I did mean
miserable
that
it
to
was.
face reality and to be tougher. Okay, the Chicago rule should be working.
I don't think that there is any ground to see any toughness. But again, if there is a visa liberalization thing, I still think that this might be one contributing factor. Let's see.
But again, about the visa liberalization, I think things are getting easier because 2-3 days ago, European Parliament adopted new procedural change and it will be much easier from now onwards to suspend visa-free travel on the basis of human rights abuse or non-alignment with the European
I think
Union policies.
we are scoring very well, very high on both. Yeah.
It's about 61 countries, but I think Georgia is on the top.
Yes.
Thanks, Nodar, and thanks for watching us, listening to us, and I'll see you next week.